WWE Backlash 2004. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not hating 2004 WWE as much as I thought I would. I mean, this show here, we got an all-timer match between Randy Orton and Mick Foley. We got a great WrestleMania main event rematch for the world title. We got the rise of Shelton Benjamin. We got Jericho and Christian doing good work. Is there a little bit too much Garrison Cade? Perhaps. Jonathan Coachman versus Tajiri. Sounds like a funny little thing I just made up, but it's a match on a pay-per-view. People paid money for. That's what pay-per-view means. There's a lot of good. There's also a lot of bad. So let's get into it right here on the Apron Bump Podcast.
Yeah. And the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get started. Yeah.
What is up, everybody? What the heck is up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I am your host, the hardest part of the ring, Kyle. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody had a nice, lovely Father's Day this past weekend. My dad's dead, so I had a pretty free day. But hope your day was well, filled with whatever a child and their father does. Anyways, we got Backlash 2004. Oh, gee whiz. No, I played a little golf on Father's Day with some family friends, and boy howdy is my back and neck and asshole all sore from all of that. But it was a good time. But speaking of golf, let's drive into this hole-in-one that is Backlash 2004. That was terrible. I could have gone so many funnier ways with it, but I decided to just do that. But yes, we got a lot to talk about on the show today. Like I mentioned, I pretty much touched all over it in the cold open there. We got a Raw exclusive pay-per-view on our hands today, which is always it's a mixed bag of there's some good, some bad. Like I've been dreading going through 2004 WWE, but we're about a third of the way through now, and so far, not terrible, not the best, but there's some fun stuff. I mean, look, we got the rise of Shelton Benjamin underway. We're going to talk a lot about it on the show today. But seeing him go through evolution just out of nowhere is crazy to live through. A second time, we got guys like Tajiri coming over to Raw and seeing how he maneuvers through these waters. He drowns eventually, but and that's boy, that process starts on this show. But yeah, maybe the best Randy Orton match of all time, possibly. It's debatable, but it's up there. That occurs on this show, and we get balls deep into that. The triple threat from WrestleMania, Chris Benoit, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. We get the rematch on this show as well. Was it as good as WrestleMania? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Edge is back. Edge is back from injury. Going up against Kane. Is that a good match? Maybe. I don't know. It's not. But yeah, a lot of funky. There's the weird tag division and Garrison Cades and then the whatever the hell's wacky show. But it's a fun one. It was a fun time talking about it with my beautiful guests, JPJ and Pluggo from the Between Two Beards podcast. Loved having these guys on. Had Pluggo on a little while ago, and was able to get the duo on for this episode, and it was a lovely time. You could tell the chemistry these guys have with each other, and we had a good old time talking some ruthless aggression era WWE. If you want more of these guys, which why wouldn't you after listening to this episode, go check them out. Like I said, the Between Two Beards podcast. You can find them live every Thursday talking this wacky world of professional wrestling. Very entertaining guys. They each have their own individual projects and stuff too as well. So make sure to follow them both on the social media so you can be kept abreast of everything beards and plugs and J's and all that stuff. No, really good guys. Go check them out. Give them a follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And hey, do the same for me. Add Apron Bump on all the social medias. Join the Discord. If you like this type of episode, you like this era of wrestling, well, I've covered everything from Royal Rumble 2001 all the way up chronologically through this point in time, Backlash 2004. So if you like that kind of attitude era into Ruthless Aggression era, binge away. You can go to the link in the description or go to apronbump.com and select Ruthless Aggression era from the drop down on the episodes tab. And that'll take you and you can select whatever podcast platform you listen to or YouTube or all that stuff. As well as the other various timelines, of course, that we cover here on the Apron Bump, whether it's the Monday Night Wars, TNA, Ring of Honor, Progress Wrestling, all that stuff. Go check it out if you have not already. And I think I've babbled enough. Let's get into it. WWE Backlash 2004 with myself and Pluggo and JPJ from the Between Two Beards podcast. When I saw I had Backlash 04 coming up, I was like, who in the wrestling community are the biggest Garrison Cade marks? And immediately you guys came up. So
that's fair.
Kind of notorious for that.
It's going to work that way. Yeah, absolutely.
I have some thoughts on that guy.
Yeah.
Really? That's more thoughts than I have.
I was going to say, I didn't even remember that guy.
Yeah, well,
barely.
I put it all together up here.
Yeah. Pluggo's got it.
Look at that. Look at that. What about Lance Cade? Do you remember Lance Cade?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Remember Lance Cade.
I did not. I had to research. I found a bunch of stuff.
Cade and Murdoch, man.
Yeah,
legendary
right?
team.
I know.
Legend. I mean, they actually were pretty solid, but
yeah, I do remember Lance Cade, but Garrison Cade. What a time that was.
You're muted on us there, bud.
What?
I was muted.
I hit the button on my mouse. It all went awry.
Oh, all right. I was gonna say what? No, I haven't touched anything.
I was giving some good takes on Garrison Cade, but I guess
I wasn't. I promise I wasn't.
Well, we might as well I guess dive right into it. Appreciate you guys making the time to check out Backlash 04 and discuss a little mid 2000s wrestling. You guys, how familiar are you guys with this era of WWE specifically?
I mean, for me, I was very familiar with this. I mean, I will be honest, this right around 2005, 2006, I was still paying attention to things, but I kind of dipped out a little bit from like as religiously watching as I was from my youth to that point. But I mean, when we're going to talk about it, but one of the matches on this show is a pivotal match, like one of my favorite matches of all time. So,
right.
Yeah. So
that Jonathan Coachman Tajiri.
Yeah, 100%. That was the one. How'd you know?
It was pivotal, but maybe for the wrong reasons.
I mean, let's be honest. Top 10 to 15 match of all time. Come
on. This is 2004 Backlash era. I'm graduating high school in 2004. So this, like, when I texted the group and was like, oh my gosh, this Shelton Benjamin, runs through Evolution run. I forgot all about it because I was just trying to graduate high school at this point. I was probably out doing things I shouldn't have been.
You weren't you weren't keeping abreast of the doings of Shelton Benjamin.
I'll say this. I kept up with the weekly stuff probably better than, because this was pre-network era, right? So you didn't have the $9.95, you get all the pay-per-views. And I wasn't rolling in the money then. I'm not rolling in the money now, but I can afford a Peacock subscription in my adult age. I couldn't afford that in my 18-year-old age, working at Subway.
Yeah, this is when I recorded Monday Night Raws on VHS back in this is what you did if I had to work or I had to.
Yeah.
I'm a year older than Pluggo, so I was a freshman in college. Which is why you can understand about a year later, I would dipped out a bit because I was focused on other things, and being a college kid and doing all that fun stuff. But, yeah. So this was like compared to what we have now and how we access everything now, like this was like light years ago. You know, it's wild when you think about
It's
it.
a different lifetime.
Yeah, man.
Lifetime. Yeah. I mean, I was 11 years old when this show happened. So it was, prime watching wrestling age.
Fair.
I will say I wasn't as tuned in as I was, as the Attitude Era. I mean, it was kind of the prevailing, this is kind of the dip period that we're in right now. I mean, we're just, it's crazy. It's like, because I'm watching all this chronologically, and when Goldberg and Brock left at the same time, and then Stone Cold, I mean, he kind of hung around for a little bit, and now he's gone. They're pushing some weird people. I mean, Shelton Benjamin panned out well, but I mean, there's just random pushes of like Rene Dupree and Mark Jindrak and Charlie Haas and Rico as a tag. It's a weird cast of characters. But it's honestly it's interesting watching.
This was a throw stuff at the wall and hope it sticks era, because it was in between, like you said, they're trying to find that next star. They're trying to figure out who they got, and they definitely, we talked about this, Kyle, when I was on with you. They had a type back then. They had a type.
Yep. Muscular, short-haired, short tights, white guy that jumps kind of high.
Yes.
But not too high.
No.
Yeah. And Pluggo nailed it. Like, they're throwing those names at the wall because they're like, hey, maybe one of these guys will get really over with the crowd and we have our next star, because we're in the process. Cena is clearly not Cena yet. Like, they have Orton, but he's young.
Yeah.
Batista ended up kind of breaking through a little bit after this, but they were still kind of,
he's still just a bodyguard at this point.
Yeah. So they were looking for that next guy. So that's when you see like, oh, Rene Dupree kind of fits our type. Let's give him a run for a few months and see what he can do. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Let's go here, So yeah, it definitely is. Looking back on it, you see a lot of guys and you're like, wow, all right, yeah, they gave that guy really a good run here to see if he had anything.
Yeah, and like, of those things they threw at the wall, Shelton Benjamin, I think, is a thing that stuck. For sure. And it's surprising because they didn't build him up as a singles guy gradually and then have him beat Triple H. Him and Charlie were an undercard tag team for a little bit. They were just one of the who gives a fuck tag teams on SmackDown. All of a sudden, they have this draft. They break them up. And Shelton Benjamin finds himself in a main event match against Triple H on Raw. And I watched this match recently. And if anybody listening, if you have not watched that match, or if you have not watched it recently, I highly suggest it, because it is legitimately one of the best Triple H matches that there is. And that's it. He has a big catalog. It's just so good. Like the crowd is so into it, which is so interesting, because like we didn't know who Shelton Benjamin was other than one of the Team Angle guys. So and it ended up working. He got the fluke, not the fluke win, but I guess kind of a fluky win. But he beat Triple H twice. He pinned him with a roll up one week and then beat him by a count out the next week. So like you said, Pluggo, they're kind of just he's running through Evolution one by one. And in the opening match here, got Shelton Benjamin versus Ric Flair. We got old Richard here. Triple H couldn't do it. Ric Flair is going to show how to beat Shelton Benjamin. I thought it was a fine opener of a match. Well, what did you guys think about this?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't a horrifically long match. I think it was just under 10 minutes or so. But Shelton looked the part. I thought Flair, in that era, Flair is clearly at the end, He's
were you about to say at the end when he's got like 30 more years?
Yeah, his last match was like
20, maybe halfway
or something like that. So his last match is 15, 16, 17 years after this. But he was still going for a long time, but he wasn't at his come on. He was on the back. He was on the back few holes there. But again, I thought this was a fun match. I thought Benjamin looked good. I liked the finish. And him kind of, getting the win and kind of running out there, and Flair's angry and all that. So I thought this was a fine opener. Obviously, you're not gonna.
You'd have to remind me, because I'm vaguely piecing this all together, when the Evolution began, because this was like a big Evolution night. Like that was a theme throughout the night. Was because they had 3 of the 4 had matches. Batista's the only one that didn't. And yeah, it was like Shelton Benjamin, young Shelton Benjamin, that athletic. He still can go to this day, which is very cool. But yeah, he had to take on the Ric Flair, and he took care of Ric Flair. So it's just all ascension for Shelton, baby.
Hell yeah, man.
I loved it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Evolution's been around for a little bit. Is it because they formed, and then Batista and Orton both got injured.
Yeah.
And then there was like a few months in between, and then they booted back up. So I would say we're probably like 6 months after their reboot, maybe a little longer than that.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had to dust off some old wrestling. I've been doing that a little bit with my son because he's getting into it. So we watch some older stuff here and there that he can handle at his age. So I steer away. Maybe we wouldn't be watching the hardcore match we watched later on, but
yeah,
maybe Ric Flair and Shelton Benjamin would sneak in for him.
I think so. I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean the 27-year age difference between these two is very interesting to see. And you see Shelton. I love how like right away, like Shelton goes for that stinger splash in the corner. Flair gets out of the way, but Shelton catches. He like lands on the top rope. So we're like showcasing his athleticism right out the gate. He's doing these leapfrogs and drop kicks. So it immediately like illustrates the difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Flair controls it for a little bit, but yes, like you mentioned, towards the end, Flair goes to the top rope. I could really tell what happened here. I didn't know if he had the brass knuckles in his tights or his boots, and they just like fell out. But it kind of worked for the finish because it falls on the mat. He picks it up. He's fumbling with it, and then Shelton with a stinger splash to the back, and then a flying clothesline off the top rope for the win. And Shelton Benjamin, 2 out of 4 in terms of beating Evolution guys. So yeah, we're off to the races with this kid, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So it would seem.
But yeah, you would think no stopping him now,
ain't no
right?
stopping him. What?
Ain't no stopping him. Yeah, and it's like
debut of that song, by the way. But yes, continue.
Yeah, and we were just talking about right before we dived in about they were looking for the next guy, and then you have Benjamin kind of doing this thing through beating Triple H twice, going through Evolution, and it's like, oh, maybe they think that Shelton Benjamin is the next guy, and then it just kind of,
Yeah, I don't remember like what Shelton does, like because I think it's still like a year out before he wins the Intercontinental title. It's like what is he doing in between now and then? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Probably a bunch of Eugene business or something. I don't know.
Oh, good old Eugene. Speaking of the stage here, I couldn't help but think in 2004 we thought that was awesome. The stage
was it the hooks?
It wasn't the hooks yet. They did that in a different way. It was just kind of like this pattern thing, and you're just like, in 2004, that's sick. Now we'd be like, what do you do?
Backlash.
Ooh. Now it would be like the lamest thing of all time. But
sorry, I just had to throw that out there. That was the first thought when they fired up that old PLE. It wasn't even PLE then, it was pay-per-view.
The stage, the mid 2000s butt rock. I mean, it just brought you right back to that time.
Always.
It's sensational. Any other nuggets on Shelton versus Flair there? Like I said, it was a decent match, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a decent match. I thought, like I said, they were really getting behind Benjamin here to maybe be an important player for them for the next, handful of years. So yeah, I thought it fit. Putting them over clean too, even though they were going for the knucks, and it was kind of, but like it was basically a clean victory over Flair too, which I think does a lot for Benjamin in the moment. Now looking back at it, in the moment, it does a lot for him.
He's the tag team champion. So I mean, he's in the back 9, as you say, but it's still you get a lot of brownie points for beating Flair.
Yeah, in that era, beating Triple H and Ric Flair probably doesn't happen a whole lot unless you're on the upper echelon of that card. So
yeah, I mean, if you're on that upper echelon, which consists of people like Jonathan Coachman and Tajiri,
Oh
guys,
man.
Match of the night incoming. Watch out, folks. Here, watch out. That's the match of the night horn.
I will not stand for any Tajiri slander on this podcast.
I love Tajiri.
Yeah, who doesn't love Tajiri?
I love Tajiri. I don't like him getting like no bullshit beat up by Jonathan Coachman. Like he's an actual wrestler.
At one point, Jonathan Coachman did the move where he was working on Tajiri's leg, and he put it on the rope and did that like jump up where they sit down on the knee. And I'm like, that's an announce. Like he's an announcer. Like, why is Tajiri just taking that? What?
He did an arm drag, Coach did.
I'm sitting there going like, Tajiri could put this guy in a pretzel in 30 seconds if he wanted. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
When Coachman got up on the ropes and was really shaking there at the top, when he went for the
because he was nervous. He's
yeah,
like,
I was like, "Are you a really good actor, or are you nervous as hell for real right now?" Oh, he just looks so uncomfortable out there. But Tajiri's just like, "I'm going to take all these moves and make you look like $1 million because I'm a professional."
It's well, you might be asking, how the heck did we get here to Tajiri versus Jonathan Coachman? Well, Tajiri was drafted to Raw via the draft, and on Raw, he was being initiated by some of his Raw roster mates, and they said, "Hey, Tajiri, whoever walks through that locker room door, the next guy that walks through, just missed him in the face. Doesn't matter who it is," and it ends up being Jonathan Coachman, and that's why we're here, because he missed him, and then Coach cost him a match or something on Raw. Do you guys remember Tajiri versus the Ninja on Raw?
Oh, I don't.
Nope.
Let me see.
The
Ninja or Shinobi. Maybe you're more familiar with that name.
I am more familiar with that name. Sure.
Let me see if I can. Let me see.
I just think Tajiri missed Coachman because he could tell the future.
Right. That could be. Yeah.
He's just getting it in early.
So we don't need this sound here, but yeah. So Coach is like, if you hope you guys can see this. So on Raw, Jonathan Coachman has a ninja behind him.
Oh yeah, he does. Okay. Wow, that's a scary looking figure.
Yes, to combat Tajiri, because Tajiri, you see, is Japanese. Yeah. So he's a ninja. Obviously. So you need to get another ninja to combat this fella.
Of course.
This is 2004.
I like that little nifty slide that he had there. That little nifty slide in the ring he did though, like that backwards.
It was. I mean, do you guys know who this ninja is? Shinobi? Do you know who Shinobi was?
I vividly remember Shinobi. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that look at him go. But I remember Shinobi. That's a name that rings a bell to me.
Well, this is, of course. Let me see if they unmask him in this video here that I just found real quick on YouTube. Hold on. Did I pass it? Here we go.
Oh.
Ready? You ready for it? Yep. Scooby-Doo?
Is it Garrison Cage?
Oh, it's Al Snow. Oh, man. Good gravy. All right. Well,
when I think ninja, I think Al Snow. I think.
Hey, he was Avatar. He was Shinobi. I don't know why they were so hell bent on giving him some sort of Asian inspired, whatever. But
yeah.
Well, Jonathan Coachman is no ninja, but he is taking apart Tajiri as if he was one. For some reason. So they do the thing where like Tajiri goes for a kick on the outside and Coach ducks and he kicks the ring post. So it kind of like falls into it a little bit, but this was, I don't know, but like Tajiri on SmackDown was so good, like cruiserweight division. And now he's on Raw, and I feel like his run is just this type of stuff, unfortunately. Do you think this match killed Tajiri?
I mean, I don't know if you want to go for
like on an emotional level, like
like his credibility, maybe his soul as well.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Tajiri losing to Jonathan, and I understand there was shenanigans. I get it, but first of all, I didn't even remember that this match happened. If I'm being completely honest, and for good reason, because watching back, I was like, this is probably why I don't remember this match happened. I mean, I would think it had to, right? I mean, he lost to Jonathan Coachman. Come on.
Imagine being asked by the guys in the locker room to miss the next guy that walks in the locker room. It's Jonathan Coachman. And then he's balls enough to challenge you to a match. And you're like, well, I'm fucking Tajiri, baby. I got this. And then you lose. Deflating, for sure.
Well, to be fair, he didn't lose one-on-one because Coachman recruited the help of, just an overpowered, just 99 overall, just has all of the tools. Yep. Garrison Cade comes out, gets on the apron, punch to Tajiri. Coach rolls him up for the win.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Just a punch. What a punch.
I mean,
it's not just a punch.
It's the power of the
punch.
Can
I ask you, gentlemen, a question? Is that allowed? I know this is your house.
Nope. So next match we got. No, please.
Vince McMahon's still in charge around here, right? At this time.
Oh, you goddamn right, pal.
Right. He must have been having an off day, allowing Garrison Cade to dress exactly like Ric Flair's. Like he looked exactly like Flair. He had the bleached blonde hair, the red tie.
Yeah, he really did.
Just like Flair. And I was like, wait a minute, we're not allowed to have two of the same thing. And then my other theory on Garrison Cade was, is he around? Because I don't know much about him. I don't know what else he did outside of this, but like, was he around? Because remember when Evolution began and on the documentaries of Triple H is like, well, I went to Ric Flair and I knew he still had stuff left in the tank. And I was like, maybe he can give us a go. And I need the old Ric Flair to make Evolution work. You know, he did, that all pomp and circumstance. Was Garrison Cade like the backup plan if Flair couldn't perform for like, oh, we just got this muscle-bound blonde guy we can stick right in here. He looked like okay. Flair's illegitimate son.
I think you're overestimating how similar Garrison Cade and Ric Flair are. It's like, tomatoes and onions. I think.
Know.
Here, man.
I don't know.
This is what we're talking about.
I don't know, man. I think there's levels to. There's got to be a reason that guy's on the roster.
I mean, they're
one
on
A
the
and one
same
B,
level.
right?
Yeah, they're all on the same level. Yeah. That's why.
I mean, in some circles, Garrison Cade sneaks out the Ric Flair GOAT conversation.
That's fair.
In some circles, yeah.
Maybe he was just trying to like do a cosplay of younger Ric Flair.
I thought it was Ric Flair coming out to help coach.
Are we not just allowed to have blonde hair and red tights?
Yeah.
Is it too confusing?
Not in the Vince McMahon era.
A little bit.
There's always a reason. Not allowed two of the same thing.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, if we know one thing about Vince, he doesn't like
the same thing.
This
is what he worried about was fans like me going, "Wait a minute, that looks like the same guy that just wrestled the match before." What?
At this time of his tenure, because later on he would have the rematch 7 weeks in a row. So he didn't care. But
I don't think Garrison Cade was on the top of his to-do list.
No.
Listen, you're welcome. You now have the only podcast with the most extensive Garrison Cade breakdown in history of podcasting.
Has to be.
There is no other episode of anything that has talked about Garrison Cade as much as we.
Garrison Cade's mother doesn't even talk about Garrison Cade this much.
No, not at all.
100%.
So you're welcome, internet wrestling community.
But I mean, it's just the ultimate who gives a fuck. It's Tajiri versus Coachman. The crowd is dead quiet, and then to add Garrison Cade on top of it was just the ultimate comedy to me watching it. So anyways, we move on to something a little better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A 2-on-1 handicap match, a 2-on-1 intergender handicap match. We got Chris Jericho versus the team of Christian and Trish Stratus. Who baby? I mean, puppies. Am I right or am I wrong, fellas?
Yeah, I mean, they're there.
2004.
Look at it. Look at
Lawler, baby. Couldn't contain it.
First of all, Jerry the King Lawler was on one.
Why do you say that?
Show. On one.
Like a good one?
I don't know.
It was peak Lawler.
I mean, it's the match after this, but at one point, Victoria's in the ring and he just goes, "Man, she's hot."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
they spent 30, they spent a good 30, 45 seconds of the next match talking about thongs. And there was no thongs to be seen. Jerry King Lawler's just like, "Yep, this is what I'm talking about right now." And King and JR's like, "All right, man."
Even JR at one point was like, "I don't know how you think of the things you think about all the time," or something like that. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, King, come on now. I understand this is your shtick, but brother.
It's something.
Yeah.
It is something.
And then later on, before the main event, JR spit as he was talking on King, and he gave him a look like, what the fuck? Like he was ready to smack JR. And JR's like, I'm really sorry. Lawler was just vibing.
That's hilarious.
He was vibing.
On one.
Anyway.
I mean, even in this match, like when Christian and Jericho are in the ring and Trish is on the apron and Trish is like bent over the top rope, holding the tag rope. And King is just, he is just losing all of his faculties. He is just, underneath that announce desk. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
They had to curve his up.
Yeah. It gradually just tips over.
There's room for it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crusty. But honestly, I mean, I guess we should touch on the backstory first. I mean, I don't know how familiar you guys are with this story.
This
at
one,
this point in time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, what do you remember from I'm interested to get your perspective.
Well,
on it.
I remember that Jericho and Trish had a little romance. There was a couple kiss scenes and big things of that nature, and then obviously the WrestleMania match, where she turned on him and slapped him, and then they made out with Christian after Christian won at the top of the ramp. That's like to me. At this point, like that's an iconic WrestleMania moment. At this point, like that's one of the ones you remember. So I remember that. I remember once I was like going through it and watching this for the first time in a long time. I was like, I obviously remembered this feud, but I was like, oh man, I remember this match. And then obviously there's one sequence in the match that the crowd gets very excited for. And at the time, I was probably very excited for, if we're being honest. As a 19-year-old.
The collar and elbow tie-up, right?
Yes, to start it off. I mean, how can you not?
I lose my faculties at some great rest holds.
Unbelievable. The drop toe hold, bro. You kidding
Shirt
me?
off. I understand. I'm with you guys. I'm
nips out, man. It's just like, boom, drop toe hold. Holy crap. Is that a cravat?
Easy.
My desk. You're going to see my desk lift up in a second.
Oh, here's the horny alarm.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's the same as the match of the night alarm.
I don't have a lot of alarms, okay, buddy? All right. Well, I'm not doing as well as the beards and the whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, we don't have any sounds at all.
We don't have any sounds. We need to get on that.
Yeah, I know. The heck.
But yeah, Christian was they were in a tag team too. This was one of those classics like you can't trust her, man.
Yeah.
Angles, and then it kind of blew up. And here we are.
They're good friends turned bitter enemies. I mean, who would have thought?
Over a girl.
Over a girl. A tale as old as time.
Come on now.
But let's be fair. In 2004, this is the girl.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I might lose a buddy or two for Trish Stratus back when I'm 18 years old, and it's 2004. I might go, you know what? Listen, dude. Sorry, man.
Buddy, let me tell you, at this point in time, 2004, I am wiring the shit out of JPEGs of Trish Stratus on the beach. Let me tell you, I got files of corrupted. They're giving me viruses, but man, that wet hiney is all over my computer at this point.
You keep your cravats and your rest holds, JPJ. I'm going for.
That's all right. That's okay.
You can have both. I prefer to mix them.
Yeah, I mean, she was presented as the top. I always leaned Lita a little bit. That was more my vibe. The rocker chick. I liked that vibe. We'll talk about her soon. But yeah, I mean, Trish was the top. Yeah. The top girl. Like that's who she was. So this was, and this wasn't even her. This was her still on the way to her peak. Like this was still her.
And she got
ascending.
In all seriousness, like she got into this match. Like she mixed it up with Jericho. He put some hits. I was like, damn. Again, 2004 WWE is a whole different vibe than right now.
I liked how this match played out. Honestly, like Christian and Jericho, I mean, they had a great match at WrestleMania. They got good chemistry with each other, and most of this match was them. But the Trish element, I thought, added a lot to it. Like she didn't want to get in the ring, obviously, with Jericho, and she would only get in when Jericho was beat down by Christian, and then Jericho would start getting to his feet, and then Trish would sprint back to Christian, tag him in. I thought she was a great vixen, or what does JR call him? Jezebel, in this match.
Yeah.
So she got her licks in, but it didn't feel overbearing and silly. She didn't get as much offense as Coach did to Jerry. Let's put it that way.
Disrespect. Tajiri disrespect.
Trish versus Tajiri.
He's watching this match backstage going, what the fuck?
So like Christian and Jericho, they're having a pretty good back and forth match here. And then towards the end, kind of breaks down a little bit. Trish gets in the ring. She goes for like a cross body onto Jericho, but Jericho catches her, puts her over his knee.
Yep.
And punishes her.
Sure does.
Gives her a good old spanking.
Give her a good old spanking.
That'll show her.
That's right.
All right. She probably hates that.
Yeah. The amount of pandemonium happening in this arena, looking back at it, at now in the world that we're in now, man,
it's because
what a time! Like like the crowd was waiting the whole time. That every time they teased that Jericho was going to get his hands on Trish, throughout this whole match, the crowd was at a fever pitch.
Love it.
Are you sure
I
it
did
wasn't
too.
just because they were in Canada and these are two Canadian icons in the wrestling scene?
No, three Canadian icons.
Trish, that's right.
About?
I'm sorry. I always forget. I forget Trish.
Icons.
I forget Trish is from Toronto. We kind of claim her as our own down here in the States.
But yeah,
are you sure that's not what it was? It had nothing to do with the move.
How does that and again,
a good Canadian
I am
crowd.
Viewing this as I remember it from 2004 when I was 19-year-old me. I loved the shit out of this, and I still loved it watching it back now.
Yeah.
You love a good spanking.
Yeah, but it's just like the way the crowd is like
JPJ's
ready. They're like, "Come on!"
JPJ's like, "Yeah, man, I like it."
I'm just like,
Booker T in it the whole time.
Oh, hell yeah. I don't care. People hate on Booker T. He's good for two things: the Trick Williams entrance and that Stephanie Vaquer move.
Well, Stephanie got moved up to the main roster.
I know. Now it's over. Now we got Pat McAfee doing whatever the hell he's doing. Not the same. Not the same.
Not the same.
They should just bring Book in just for her matches. That's it. Just bring him in.
He's just on a mic backstage.
Yeah, or just dub it over. Can you just dub it over?
Right.
Ideally, in a perfect world, and I know not everybody that watches the main stuff watches NXT. In a perfect world, the crowd would do it. The crowd should be going, ah.
I think they generally do. I think
in a perfect world, that should be. But afterwards, the crowd then needs to go, yeah. And you got to do it. You got to do the whole thing.
For like a really uncomfortably long.
Yeah. Look, he's good for two things. You gotta lean in. You gotta lean in.
He stays busting. This Booker
he does.
T.
He does.
But yeah, so the spanking, I mean, to your point, the crowd erupts. I mean, where they're ravenous, they're salivating. And this as Jericho is spanking Trish, this allows Christian to come through the back door. Oh yeah, and gives Jericho the unprettier. And Christian, he could pin him, but he's like, let me let Trish pin this boy. Let's really rub salt.
Trying to impress the new lady.
Gotta love it. So Trish makes the tag, makes the cover, but it's only a 2 count, my God. And it kind of continues on. There's a triple down at some point, and then the end comes when Jericho catapults Christian into the corner and squashes Trish. And Jericho with a running enziguri for the 1, 2, 3. I guess he's trying that out as a finisher. But
I was gonna say,
yeah. So Jericho gets the win here ultimately. So happy ending, I guess. Spank and a win.
Yeah. I mean, sign me up. Sign me up, right? Who are we kidding? Yeah, I thought this was a good match. I thought it was fun. I agree with your Trish. I thought she was a perfect foil throughout the whole match. She added an element. I mean, these guys would have had a great one-on-one match again because they're two great all-timers. Yeah. But her being a part of it and the way it was played out, I thought was perfect. The crowd was jacked up for it with 3 Canadians, and it was just a good story. Who doesn't love, friends turning on each other over, like love story triangle. I mean, it had everything you want as a pro wrestling fan, especially in 2004 when they went in on things a lot different and deeper than they do now. So, this was a good time. Yeah. One of the better parts of the show.
In 2025, you'd have to Jericho would have to find a partner. So
yes,
maybe bald Molly Holly is available.
Oh, we'll get to her.
Yeah, sure. It should have been available for mixed tag action.
Yeah. Unfortunately not. But it's next actually. We go backstage, and Eugene is walking around. Recently debuted Eugene. We're about 2 weeks into him at this point. He's walking around because William Regal is his handler, I guess. Yes. I don't know. And Eugene, for those here's the lore alarm. The lore of Eugene is that he's Eric Bischoff's nephew, I believe, right?
Yes.
And he's tasked William Regal to watch over him. Now, My question is maybe just don't bring Eugene to the arena if you don't want him. Look, I don't know.
To bring your
Yeah.
nephew to work forever.
Yeah.
Is that
There's a lot of holes in this.
instead of bring your kid to
logic
work
here.
day, it's sign your nephew to a contract and put one of the greatest wrestlers of all time in charge of him?
Yeah, I mean, what else is he doing? You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Yeah.
But Eugene is walking around, doesn't know where he's at. For those unfamiliar with Eugene, I mean, he's that's lore, by the way. That's not that's not what Eugene is, right? I mean, it kind of is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's a special fella.
Sure
I don't
is.
know what the verbiage we should be using, but he's
I would say, I mean, I think we can say it. He was mentally handicapped.
yes. He's
proper-
he's a little touched, as my
Yeah.
Meemaw used to say.
Yeah.
And he's walking, so he's kind of just whatever, and he wanders in to the women's locker room, and he sees Gail Kim undressing. I don't know why she was undressing. She didn't have a match. I guess she does.
I was gonna say maybe they were getting in gear to plan what we will talk about later.
That's actually good foreshadowing. That's a
You know
great
what I'm
point.
Yeah.
So Gail Kim screams because there's a man in the locker room, and then Molly Holly walks over with her. At this point, she has like a buzz cut, and this frightens Eugene because women don't have short hair.
Yeah, he goes.
He tapped
"Huh?"
He tapped her on the head. He was like, "Oh,
Is this
look at
real?
this." Yeah, what? And she's like, and she like grabs. She goes to grab the wig, but she grabs a article of clothing first and puts it on her head, and then realizes it's not the wig, and then she grabs the wig and puts the wig on.
Yeah, in no way, shape, or form watching this segment that I go, you know what, Gail Kim and Molly Holly have stuff to do later on this show. I would have never put it together in the moment.
Nope.
And then I was just shocked to see Gail Kim. I had forgotten that Gail Kim did a small run in the WWE, and I know it didn't go well. And I have to maybe this
Didn't end well.
Yeah, I say maybe this was one of the segments that it just didn't that she alludes to when she talks about her time.
Yeah, I probably feel like she didn't sign. She didn't sign up in WWE for these kind of segments.
So.
My guess would be.
I don't think so. But William Regal quits fucking around and finds Eugene and wrangles him. I don't know what William was doing. Was he in catering? Did he just lose concentration? He just let Eugene on the loose?
Yeah.
He went to the
Free range, Eugene?
Get it together.
He went to the bathroom. He's like, Eugene, I'll be right back.
I guess that is allowed when you put it that way. But this segues into the next match, actually. We got the women's title on the line. Got the champion, Victoria, defending against Lita. Oh, she's hot.
Listen, as a 19-year-old, I agreed.
Yeah.
I not even because of that, but I loved Victoria. She was one of my favorite. I was a big fan of Victoria. I liked her a lot. She was one of my favorites during this era. Yeah.
No, she was good.
Yeah, she was good. She was very good.
Very, very, probably the best athlete on the women's roster at this point. I'd have to say. She wasn't she like she wasn't a bodybuilder. She was like a something. Not CrossFit. I don't think that was around.
No,
but she was an athlete of some sort.
Yeah, she did some sort of triathlon or something like. She did something like
curling.
And they gave this match time.
Cornhole. Yeah, they did. They did. I was surprised.
Yeah. Lita's a great partner to have, a dance partner, especially at that time. So, you know, it was hard to concentrate with Jerry the King Lawler's insightful commentary over this match. But I mean,
when he said that, I was just like, "What? Unbelievable!" Didn't even like. Usually, he tried to do like a funny quip, or he would try to make it funny. He was just blatantly, "Oh, she's hot," and I was like, oh, "Okay." We get it, King.
He can't just say nothing.
You can't just, yeah.
Listen, in this era, it was probably confusing for old Jerry the King Lawler when two women's wrestlers could actually wrestle and have a solid match for more than 3 minutes. He's like, I ran out of things to say. She's hot.
Yeah, you might not be wrong.
Couldn't possibly talk about the action that's happening.
No. Why would he? No. That'd be
insane.
The poor JR is just like this schmuck.
Victoria actually was a bodybuilder.
No.
Oh, she was. Okay, I knew she was something.
She was in the International Federation of Bodybuilders. She National Physique Committee. She was a part of Team Universe.
Hello.
Yeah, so she was a bodybuilder, and she was also a professional cheerleader.
Oh, what team?
Let me see. Hold on.
I mean, we got to put together the whole story here.
Yeah. So she did. All right. So she was a cheerleader in college. Sorry. So she was an NCAA All-American Award winner.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty good. And then she did fitness and figure competitions for ESPN2, the Fitness America series. She finished first place in 1997.
Wow.
National Physique Committee. Like I said, she was part of the Women's Try Fitness. Yeah. So she did a lot of that stuff, and then she started wrestling in right after that.
She was ahead of her time a little bit.
Yeah.
Signed her today, she might be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what that is. That is a lot of great lore.
Yep.
It's lore alarm. So we got Victoria versus Lita.
I love that.
It's actually so like women's division. Unfortunately, we're not in a great spot at this point.
Yeah.
Not a lot of investment. There's not really a story between these two. They're two fan favorites. So the crowd loves Lita. They always have. And Victoria, she's like newly babyface, so she's still trying to still trying to catch fire a little bit as a babyface. But I feel like this match helped her because she was able to showcase her wrestling, which is where she thrives. Like you said, they got time here, which I was surprised. And it ended up being a pretty decent match, especially for the era. Any particular parts of this match stick out to you guys?
No. I remember. I thought the end. I don't want to just shoot right to the end, but I remember. I thought the match overall was pretty solid, back and forth with these two. But I remember the ending when I saw it again. I was like, that was kind of anticlimactic. That was just kind of an inside cradle out of nowhere. Like there wasn't like a lot that led up to the ending, and it was just kind of like, oh, all right, she got her, kind of thing.
Like they were running long on time.
Something like that. Yeah, it felt weird. It
was ambitious because it seemed like Victoria was going for the Widow's Peak, and the idea was that Lita was gonna like flip her over, and then Victoria was gonna like flip right into the small package. But it was they kind of had to pause a few times in between, so it came off a little clunky. But
yeah, there was a couple spots where Lita was, maybe a step. Their chemistry was slightly off, but it wasn't the worst I've ever seen.
How about that top rope moonsault?
I was gonna say. Yeah. I feel like she was supposed to miss her, but she still ended up hitting her.
Ugh. Yeah.
So that didn't go. It felt like to me, and I don't know if Lita was injured at this time, or it felt like Lita was kind of like not at her peak during this. It felt like Victoria was carrying, even though I thought the match was solid. I thought Victoria was really carrying.
She also said there was no story here. They didn't even get like a video package.
No, nothing.
They just went like, oh, we're having a women's championship match.
And it's two baby faces too, going against each other as well. Like there's no, so it just kind of felt like this was just, and again, I don't remember all the time that was surrounding this. I don't feel like there was a build to this really. So like, I feel like it was just like, hey, we want to get Victoria to defend the car. All right, put her against Lita. That will get the crowd happy. And they just kind of, put it together.
Yeah. I mean, this match, there was another match that they said that it was added on Heat. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one also was added like in the pre-show.
Yeah. This might have been when Lita was just coming back from her major neck surgery. So maybe that's why she was a little slow and kind of.
I think we're like 4 or 5 months out from that, but she hasn't wrestled a ton since then.
Yeah. So she's probably still,
she was missing a sleeve.
Confidence baby and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
She had one sleeve missing on her shirt. So she might have been off, balance wise.
That's actually a really good point.
That is
you bring the science.
See,
you bring the science to the
point.
That's why
he's around.
Wrestling science, man. That's me.
Yeah, I call you the scientist. But back to Molly Holly and Gail Kim. So the match ends. Victoria retains, and Molly Holly and Gail Kim storm the ring and they attack both women, and then they leave as the crowd chants "Baldy" at Molly Holly.
Yeah, so, they didn't grab a mic and say, we're here to come for that championship. They just beat them down, moved on.
That's it. Yep.
Statement made.
Cool.
Eugene really riled them up, I guess.
Yeah, they were pissed, clearly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, speaking of pissed, I was not pissed at this next match.
Oh.
One of my favorite matches of all time, honestly. We have an Intercontinental title, no holds barred Falls Count Anywhere match. That's what Cage Match describes it as. It's Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack. My goodness. My goodness. I mean, everything from the build to the match. I mean, especially in hindsight, watching this match, it's so clear that this is what made Randy what he is today. I mean, he would win the world title a couple months after this. I mean, there's a lot to get into with this one. What do you guys remember, like from the like the build to this one, the WrestleMania match, all that stuff? If you remember anything,
I just remember Randy really running Mick down, and really, you know, he was obviously the young, cocky, you know, that kid, but I just remember him in those promos leading up to it, just really running him down and you know, saying some really nasty things to him to really get that sympathy from the crowd. Yeah. I remember that. And then, you know, it's Cactus Jack, man. Like, once you know you're facing Cactus Jack, you know you're in trouble. So, yeah, I remember this whole thing leading into it was really, really good. And then they put on this, and this is a career-defining match for Randy. Career-defining. He's had a lot more of them since.
Yeah,
but career-defining.
It's super easy now to just go, yeah, that's Randy Orton, man, legend killer. But this was like, he was the young upstart in Evolution. He's Bob Orton's son, right? So he's trying to make a name for himself and not just be like, oh, I'm not just some second generation star that's, you know, riding my dad's coattails here. Like, this match was so pivotal in becoming the Randy Orton that we know now, because like he put himself, he goes, I'm not my dad. I am the legend killer.
Yeah.
I'm mowing these people down. And it was insane. Like, this was just a crazy match all the way around. But good on him, man. Oof. And to do that, and not just rest on your laurels.
Exactly.
Great.
And he needed it because he's Randy Orton. He's cocky. He's this pretty boy. Yep. He's got the Federation behind him right away. Young IC chant. He's doing all this stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. And then he has this type of match with this type of guy, and he got the shit kicked out of him in this match. And I think for the fans, that was okay. Like, that was all of us, even though he's a bad guy, and we still booed him for a little bit longer until they kind of, you know, switched it up on us a few months down the road. But like, this was the whole crowd watching that match and going like, okay, you're good with us. You're
willing to do whatever.
Yeah, you can do whatever it takes. Like, you're good. You're good with us. It was just, really just a special match. It's a special match. It's like you said it too. It's one of my favorite matches of all time.
It's no Tajiri versus Coachman, but it's up there for sure.
No, I mean, if only Garrison Cade could have made his presence felt.
I was trying to think, what is this match missing? And it's Garrison.
You know, it takes it from 4.75 to 5 stars, baby. If Garrison Cade comes in, just a nice little chair shot. Come on,
or a
missed
punch.
Opportunity. Yeah, the punch,
the legendary punch
through a chair, maybe.
Notorious. Yeah.
Missed opportunity. It's fine.
It's no, you guys, I totally agree. And like, at this point, like you guys said, Randy Orton, like, he was the young, cocky guy, but there was a lot of those guys. You have your Mark Jindrak, your Rene Dupree. There's a lot of good-looking, young, muscular guys. Yep. This match, I feel like, took Randy and put him on a different level. It differentiated him from all the other young, up-and-coming guys. Made him legit, made him feel like a main event. Mick Foley, just a legend, even especially at this point. I mean, just a legend in the game, and very, very parallel with the Cactus Jack Triple H match from 2000. Almost a similar kind of thing. Like, it kind of made Triple H in a lot of ways, that match at Royal Rumble in 2000, the street fight. So there's a lot of similarities there. But I mean, Randy came to play as well. Like, he got his ass kicked, but he was giving it too. Those trash can shots, he was winging them. And like, it's smashing Mick on the ramp. Like, everything just had intensity to it from both guys.
Because Mick loves that stuff, so he's like, give it to me, man. I don't care. And
of course,
and then he said, he's out there to make Randy look good. And then of course Bischoff came out at one point because Mick was about to light him on fire.
Might have been a little overboard.
He's like, you light him on fire. The whole show's got to be shut down.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And that that was another element of the story leading into this, because they had Randy was running Mick down, like you said, like at the end of 03. It's like this has been going on for a while. It kind of built eventually to the WrestleMania match, Rock and Sock Connection versus Evolution. But Mick has gone on to say that he did not like his performance in that match. He felt like there was a fire missing. And that was kind of a part of this story to this match specifically. There was a great promo from Mick. He said that he went back, he watched his old tapes from Japan and ECW, and he noticed something in his eyes back then that he was missing at WrestleMania, and he was able to recapture that. And it's a good story, but I think it like materialized into something tangible, because like Mick was moving really well at this. I mean, they said he was like 272, which is like the lowest he had been.
Said since like 1989, I think they said commentary. That was like the lightest he had ever been since like 1989. So he was definitely in like easily in the best shape of his WWE career.
For sure. Yeah.
So you could tell that this meant a lot to him too. Like he was like, hey, like, this is for me too. Like, we're putting the kid over and we're getting the kid to where he needs to go, but this is for me. This is for me too.
Yeah. That's just a recipe for success when both guys are that hungry, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then God, some of the spots in this match.
I mean, Barbie was very present during this match.
I will say real quick, when Cactus Jack Mick Foley comes out and he's got his barbed wire bat, it is intense looking, and then Randy pulled that like stick with some like a little bit of chicken wire on it. I was like,
it was wrapped.
I don't think you know.
But then it came unraveled.
Yeah, I was like, Randy, I don't know if you know what you're up against, bud.
Yeah.
Just shows the different levels.
Some
guys played with barbed wire, one guy hasn't.
Yeah, Mick Foley's thing, but it doesn't come unwrapped. And then of course, poor Randy Orton forgot the golden rule: the one who brings the tax goes into said tax, and then still wrestled for like 10 minutes after that.
That was the moment. When he lands that in the perfect camera shot at the perfect angle, when he lands in the tax and you see his initial reaction at that moment, that was the most painful thing that he's ever gone through. And his eyes disappear. His eyeballs disappear.
There are a lot of those moments in this match, like that, the barbed wire, a raking him in the forehead while he's like tied up in the ropes. Like there's a lot of like iconic images in this match from his career. But those tags, dude, like.
Oh, and he's obviously not wearing a shirt. Like he's in the tights. Usually a lot of times people go through through the tax, they're wearing a shirt or they'll have, they're wearing pants, He's just got the little tights and he had them in his hand and his fingers. Oh man,
is the craziest visual, like from tax that I think I've ever. And we were shitting on Jerry Lawler a little bit earlier, but he added a lot to that spot, because Randy goes for the RKO in the tax. King's like, oh, here it goes, and then he gets thrown in the tax, and King is like, and then he's like, they're all like yelling, commentary is, and then when they cut to that shot of his back, King goes like, oh my god, it's just
he got all of
perfection,
it. All of it.
Oh, they were just everywhere. He had them.
I don't even know how you fake that. That's the thing. I don't. You don't. You just take it.
I think that's a natural. I think that's why his facial reaction. That is all real. That is all. Holy crap! That hurts. This hurts a lot.
That's why he never did it again. I don't think. Right? So
it's
a one and done.
He was like, I have to do this because I have to do this, but that's the only time I'm ever doing that ever again. My God.
I mean, but like, dude, he gets thrown in the tax and he like rolls out of the ring, and just there's a point where he's like walking up the ramp. You see the tax in his back. You see him picking it out of his hands, and then he turns around. You see the blood on his face. Turns around. You see the tax again. It's just the craziest visual of like what he's been through in this match, and we're not even done yet.
Yeah. No.
He kept going.
He's whipped off the stage through a table. After that,
is that what? It was like some wooden structure on the floor that he got thrown through.
Weird thing where they went backstage
Yeah.
And then JR on commentary is like, we needed to get a camera back there. And then they just never did. And they weren't back there for long, maybe like 30, 45 seconds, but there's just nothing going on.
They're just pulling
And they
tacks out
just
of Randy's back.
Yeah, I think that's what they were doing. They were just yanking the tacks out of Randy because
Possibly,
they knew he was
yeah.
going through the table. And
Oh, that's a good point.
they're like, if you want a back full of tacks, I almost said a tack full of backs, but if you want a back full of tacks and then we're going to throw you
back
off
that
the
tack
stage
up.
through a table, no way, dude. No way.
Use a real
and then
fine buzzer once you back them tacks up. Sorry.
Exactly.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably what they did, honestly. They probably were like, let's go backstage, get off camera for a minute, and try to help Randy. Because I don't even think they anticipated he was going to eat that many of those tacks and then, trying to wrestle for another 5-10 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Probably not easy.
Yeah.
With them in there still, so who knows?
Yeah, it's
gnarly.
A cozy little toss off the stage through a bunch of wood and tables and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctors are checking on Randy because he's been through so much. They're checking on him on the floor and they're trying to back up Cactus. And they're like, hey, it's over. We're done, Cactus. And Jack's like, all right. I'm going to go. I'm going to walk backstage. I know I'm not. And then he runs elbow drop off the stage.
I'm just getting started, man.
Brother. And then it's falls count anywhere. So he pins him after that for a 2 count, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good amount of delay between him hitting it and him pinning him, but we eventually get back to the ring where some wrestling's happening. We got a double arm DDT from Cactus for a 2 count, and the crowd is with all of these counts. I mean, they're so invested, they're so into this. How could they not be? Randy scurries to the outside, finds Barbie, which is Cactus's bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. And Randy smashes Foley in the face with it, hits him a few more times, goes to hit him in the head with it, but by God, Mr. Sacco makes an appearance.
That disgusting sock. That's JR. Is Jerry the King Lawler from the crotch of his pants.
Like at this point, is some BO is that really where we're gonna draw the line? But I don't know.
That's what takes Randy out after all that. It's just the whip of the sock. He faints. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Anticlimactic is all good out. Oof.
Well, Randy uppercuts his way out of it, then hits him with a low blow. Then locks in the mandible claw again, but Randy RKO's his way out. So among all the hardcore stuff, we're getting some pretty good wrestling counters in this match, which is another reason why this is so good. But then ultimately Randy hits an RKO onto the barbed wire baseball bat for the win. By the way, I don't even think we talked about the barbed wire board.
I was going to say, that was the first time. That was the first time I can remember
seeing
them ever doing something like that in WWE ever. Yeah. When he pulled that out, I was like, oh man, okay. And I knew Mick was going to be the one that went through that. I was like, Mick's getting that. He's going.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and he got the power slam or the body slam kind of thing on it. And then at one point they're doing that in the corner, and then Randy, he throws Mick into it. Mick falls to the ground, and then Randy just grabs it and just throws it on top of Mick. I'm like, God damn, Randy. Jeez.
Legend killer, man. He's literally out there trying to kill him.
Good Lord.
Vicious.
Yeah.
Vicious. But Randy gets the win after all of it. And he has to get carried out by his boys Batista and Flair. But man, he's a made man.
Yeah.
After this, are there any spots that we missed? I mean, there was so much. I'm sure I skipped over something.
I don't think so. Now that we mentioned the board was probably the thing that I was like, oh yeah, didn't talk about that. But no, I mean, I think we talked about everything.
That's one of those matches
perfect match.
That's one of those matches you could watch 2 or 3 times and catch something new where you're like, oh shit, oh yeah. I forgot about that because it was just so much. They packed so much into it, and they did such a great job, and it really did make Randy Orton the true legend killer that he's become to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a legend who's getting hunted himself. I don't know. Maybe he's still killing legends. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Where's he been? See,
he's in one of the King of the Ring qualifiers.
Is he? Okay.
He's in one.
I know I haven't seen him since Mania.
I think it's him, Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight.
We haven't seen him since he was at Backlash 2025.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. You lose to John Cena, and then you have to disappear.
Yeah.
Right.
Super Cena.
Right.
The thing.
So, wow, he did. Man, he did just wrestle at Backlash, didn't he? It
Yeah.
really puts into perspective how long this dude's been going at it.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. I mean, watching this, I'm like, is this the best Randy Orton match? Which is kind of like, it's so early in his career, so it's almost like sad to think that, but like, I mean,
most iconic. You could definitely say iconic.
It's definitely my favorite for sure. But as far as best, like, I mean, it's up there.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of another one that is better than this one. I think this is it. I think it probably is. Now, again, he's had an, all-time career. He's one of one, that.
Wow. How could you guys put disrespect on the best wrestling match of all time, the greatest wrestling match of all time with Ed?
Oh yeah, him and Ed. Yeah,
they told us.
They told us that's the best wrestling. Come on, guys.
No, you're right. You're right.
Come
you're
on.
Right. That's a misstep on our behalf.
It's also Backlash, right. Was it not? Was it
also
Backlash? Randy Orton is the Backlash king, man.
Mr. Backlash, Randy Orton.
It's kind of Randy's event. I believe he was I think he was on one of the famous Backlash covers, so his menacing face behind the claws, if I remember. Oh. It's not his event, clearly, but it kind of, I feel like he's synonymous with a lot of them.
I think he won a WWE title, from Cena one year or something. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, that's something. I mean, I don't know who else would be Mr. Backlash. Maybe Tajiri? I don't know.
Hey. Yeah. I mean, obviously Garrison. What is it?
Cage,
Garrison Cage.
Don't pretend like you don't know his name.
Yeah, Garrison Cage.
Put some respect on Garrison Cage's name. He had a pivotal moment in this Backlash pay-per-view.
By the way, Randy's out here in red tights and short hair, and I don't see any confusion as to if he
because that was the Evolution look, except for Trips with his own route. Because he was in Evolution, he was rocking what Flair was rocking, and Flair had blonde hair. Randy did not. Come on, man, keep up.
Yeah. I'm trying.
I'm on a whole nother level up here right now.
How's the weather? Up there?
Cold, man. But I think Garrison Cage was just an Evolution stand-in. He was there for just in case, the lead actor couldn't make it. He's the understudy. They're like,
I thought you were going to imply if we didn't have Randy Orton,
we didn't have Randy Orton.
Garrison
we could
Cage.
Just throw Garrison Cage in there and not miss a step.
But you're saying if they didn't have Ric Flair,
this is they
would replace Ric Flair. Yeah. He would be the
Garrison Cage was Ric Flair's understudy. I don't know who Randy's understudy at this point is. I haven't gotten that deep into this lore yet.
Right. Yeah. So, so that match happened. Great stuff.
Oh yeah.
Cuts to Triple H backstage, sees Orton being carried by the other Evolution members, gives him props. And then goes over to give an interview with, I think was it Grisham?
Grisham,
I believe it was.
Yeah.
And he says that, beaten, because the main event's going to be Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Benoit, rematch of WrestleMania 20. Mm-hmm. And Tripp says that, beating Shawn would be sweet, but it'd be great to beat Chris Benoit in his hometown of Edmonton, which is where they're at. And I'm wondering, it was at this point that this sparked in my mind. Because the sudden ascent of Chris Benoit in 2004, because like on SmackDown he was kind of middling, and then all of a sudden he wins the Rumble and is in the main event of WrestleMania, is beating Triple H. Do you think they saw hey, Backlash is in Edmonton? Do we have somebody on the roster from Edmonton? Oh, Chris Benoit? Yeah, throw the title on him. Okay, who cares?
Baby.
You think that
he got a pop? He did get a pop.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say though, but he was super over. Kind of everywhere with that. He was, man, I know it's obviously weird to talk about in a sense, but that guy for that stretch right there, I mean, he was one of those guys when we were thinking about who could be the next guy. He was one of the guys that maybe could have been kind of floating around there. And they obviously believed in him enough to win the main event at Mania, at WrestleMania 20 and all that, that stuff. It was, and it's in Edmonton. I believe it was they made it Chris Benoit Day.
April 18th, Chris Benoit Day, everybody. Did you guys celebrate this past year?
No, that's my dad's birthday. So that's not for me. That's that day. That's that day.
That's the day before Mrs. Pluggo's birthday, so we celebrate that for the whole month.
Right,
The whole
right.
month.
You know how it goes. My birthday's in that month, and it's not as important.
No.
Never.
It's your wife's birthday, Chris Benoit Day, and then your birthday. That's kind of the hierarchy, I think, right?
Our wedding anniversary is also in April, but
I believe that's how it goes.
It's whatever. It's whatever. But more on those gentlemen later. Before then, we got a very important match here. We got Rosie and the Hurricane taking on La Resistance, represented by Rob Conway and Sylvain Grenier. I guess it was a match made on heat, but it had no heat to it. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I think I'm here. Am I here?
Whoa,
everything just got frozen in black. Everything just got frozen in black.
He got super excited to talk about Hurricane and Rosie.
Did a hurricane hit your house and knock out your
maybe.
I
think we mentioned it in the hurricane was like, you know what?
Was your internet being La Resistance?
It was, I don't know. I'm like checking my connection. I'm like, what the hell happened? But I'm here. I'm back. I think I'm back.
Here. I mean, we need to get your insight on Rosie Hurricane versus La Resistance. It's a very pivotal part of the show.
Oh, of course. What a barn burner this was. Yeah. I mean, Eugene was the star of this, wasn't it?
There,
Yeah.
No, Eugene was definitely the. This was like a match. This was a segment for Eugene.
Yes.
The match was like the background. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Listen, William Regal, the fact that you got mad at Eugene for coming out and, getting involved here, like he made this match, he made the show better. You do not yell at him. You reward him. You don't reprimand him.
Also, Regal lost him before. You'd think he'd have a tighter leash on the poor boy.
How many bathroom breaks you need, William Regal?
Just pulling his pud backstage, not paying attention.
No.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Reading that 2004 Divas magazine that Eugene
I was gonna say, you lose him and he gets into the ladies' locker room, which is obviously not ideal. But then you lose him again to the point where he makes his way out to what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know that arena. I don't have the blueprint or the schematic on me, but I have to imagine there's a few more hallways to get out to the floor there.
Also, in the kayfabes, if Eugene's just wandering around and he happened to come out during a match, he theoretically could have come out during the last match. He could have come out, walked into the barbed wire. He could have picked up the gas can, started drinking it. It could have been so much more dire.
Yeah,
100%. So Regal really needs to get his act together.
Adult Protective Services is the thing. They would have called on William Regal in a heartbeat, being like, dude, you're not taking care of your guy here. This is your job.
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff put you in charge of this. I'm surprised he didn't get fired.
Really is a shame. But I think a match happens here. Hurricane ends up winning with the eye of the Hurricane. Hits it on Rob Conway as he's distracted by Eugene. Because Eugene gets in the ring and starts running the ropes. I like the fact that he's mentally disabled, but he can run the ropes pretty well. He can only wrestle. That's the only.
That's the one thing that he's very good. He can focus at is the pro wrestling.
He's got his boots and his tights and everything on. He's ready to wrestle.
He's ready.
Yeah. So
I
don't know if you guys had any more notes on this one.
No.
Well, speaking of getting fired, we got some fire up next. We got Kane versus Edge. Edge recently, this is his first match back since his neck injury.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also injured his hand. I guess JR said he injured it in training.
Oh, it was in a cast, right? Yeah, he was wearing a cast.
And the cast was off limits.
That's right.
But he's
Johnny Nitro.
Used it anyway.
Johnny Nitro, big Johnny Nitro.
Yeah.
There, JPJ.
No, yeah. I remember him telling Edge that if he used the cast, he'll be suspended on the spot.
I was trying to remember why Johnny Nitro had that kind of power.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I didn't understand. I was like, wait a minute. He's the one in charge.
Because again, Eric Bischoff is there. He comes out to keep Mick Foley from burning the arena down, and then we don't see him again. William Regal is there, who is seemingly in Eric Bischoff's cabinet here of people that he trusts.
Right. He delegates.
But he was like, Johnny Nitro, you're in charge of the stipulation to this Kane Edge match. I'm taking this one off.
It's his jurisdiction. I don't know what to tell you. It's a weird era of Edge here because we're post Rob Zombie Edge, but we're before the Rated R Superstar. So it's this like weird middle ground where he's like, I think him just like Lita, a little gun shy from the neck injuries. So he's not really. This match sucks. I'm just gonna say this is a bad match.
I was gonna say I forgot, especially with the quality of performers with Kane and Edge. This match was very bad.
Had I not watched it today, I'd have been like,
I completely forgot how bad this match was. This was not good at all.
I'm wondering how much the hand injury played into how bad. I mean, because I don't know how limited. I assume he'd be very limited. Not able to use his hand.
Of course. But yeah, this was not good. Not good.
the nerds, if the IWC was as prevalent as it is today, they'd be like, it was supposed to be bad because he had a cast on his hand.
What do you want him to do, man?
It wasn't supposed to be a good match, okay? Like, he was
long-term story.
Okay.
Let it play out, man. Let it play out.
What are you, an AEW fan? Jeez.
Or TNA? What are you, an NWA TNA fan?
But no, all around, this just didn't look like they had much chemistry going, hand or no hand issues. But yeah, and then he uses it anyway. And I mean, I'm assuming something happened in the shows after this that maybe he got into some trouble. But in the moment, nobody came out to be like, where was Johnny Nitro? To be like, you can't do that. I told you last week. He wasn't there. So
yeah. What was he doing? That's a really good point. I know he got speared on Raw. Is he still recovering from that?
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I just remember the crowd was also super dead for this. They didn't.
Well, it was Randy and Cactus Jack crushed it, and then you had these two cool down matches before this epic main event where you're just like,
yeah.
And they're just like, we didn't need this because I actually thought that this was. I didn't even know this match was happening. I was like, the main event's coming up after that cool down match with the Hurricane, and then they threw this in there, and I'm like, just get to the finish.
Okay. I mean, I thought this match would at least like kind of start to bring him back up again, but no, it was just it was.
Yeah.
Well, you say they didn't care about this match. They did care about one element of this match.
Yes, they did.
It's the referee, Mr. Earl Hebner, and to reiterate, they are in Canada, and we are 7 years after Montreal screw job.
Yes,
still salty about it.
Yeah.
Still salty about it.
Still fresh.
Big you screwed Brett chance.
People don't forget, man.
No,
I think if you bring that up to a Canadian today, they still get a little like their eye twitches just a little bit.
They're salty. They're a salty bunch.
Yeah.
But Edge ultimately gets the win. Most of this match is like Kane. He has him in some bullshit nerve hold or something, and then ultimately Edge he goes for the spear onto Kane, but he gets out of the way and almost spears the referee, and the referee doesn't get hit by it, but he like scurries to the outside to avoid it. When this allows Edge to hit a low blow onto Kane and then hits him with the cast behind the referee's back and then hits a spear for the win.
Yep.
Man. So Edge wins, Kane loses. And I feel like Kane's lost so much because a few months before this, he was like one of the hottest things going. He was setting people on fire. He was burying people alive. And then The Undertaker comes back, bing, bang, boom, buries him in the ring. And then now Edge beats him. And now we're just, I don't know. But,
And now he's a mayor.
Yes. Doing great things over there. Right, guys? Big Oh boy. Actually, pretty fun segue from that because after that is a JBL promo. Well, it's a Judgment Day advertisement.
Yes. JudgmentDay.wwe.com. I was like, oh man, 2000.
Yeah.
Is the week after the famous JBL at the border segment, which is why it's a seamless segue.
Yeah.
It's any JBL thoughts before we get to the main event? We're at the very beginning of him at this point, and I'm looking forward to watching it again because I don't know. I'm interested to see if I like it any more or less than it did the first time watching it through.
I think if I relived through all of it again, I think I would enjoy it more now than I did at the time.
Yeah,
I feel like I would appreciate it and enjoy it more now than I did at the time because I was not in it. I was not in it with JBL.
Yeah, because he was.
I ended up not like not minding the rich character that he turned into, like, you know, that guy. I enjoyed that for parts of it. But yeah, I feel like if I was kind of rewatching through like you are, I would be way more into it this time around.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I experience. But boy howdy, we got a main event on our hands,
in a doozy.
Boys and girls. The World Heavyweight title is on the line. We have a rematch of the main event from WrestleMania. We got Chris Benoit defending against Triple H and Shawn Michaels. What do you guys think of them just running back the exact same match? I mean, it was a great match at WrestleMania, so maybe it's a good call. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it was a great match at WrestleMania. This one was a great match too. I think it made sense. I mean, Triple H and Shawn Michaels working with each other and being added in. I mean, it definitely, I don't think it hurt. I mean, if it wasn't going to be a triple threat, who does it probably him and Triple H one-on-one at this point with how they were building it? Or would it be more?
Yeah.
I don't have any stats to back it up, but maybe this was the like floodgates of like they started doing rematches like all the time.
Yeah, because I think the next year was what, Triple H and Batista.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, so I don't know, but again, maybe they were just like, we can get Shawn on the card, who, you know, given the Brett stuff, they're still not over it in Canada. We can get Trips on the card. It's the hometown, Chris Benoit. They're like, it's just gonna write itself. We don't have. They could just take it easy on this story on this one. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like they never really did like a legit Chris Benoit, Shawn Michaels feud. I would have liked to see a one-on-one match between those two.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I mean, these three together have great chemistry. They've had good matches, so not too salty on that one. But yeah, so the location of the show is pivotal because, like we mentioned, in Canada, hometown boy Chris Benoit comes out, huge pop. And they show his family, then I get immediately sad.
Yeah,
it's like, Jesus.
I was like, oh my God.
I can usually compartmentalize Benoit matches, but then they show that, I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, they showed him when they showed that when he was walking down the ring. I was just like, I was like, okay, damn. All right, well, all right.
Yeah. But Shawn comes out. Not too happy with Shawn Michaels. This crowd is. I mean, if they were still pissed off at Earl Hebner, I mean, it was 10 times the magnitude for Shawn Michaels. He comes out. He's getting boos all throughout the match, which is.
That's what happens when you stick the Canadian flag up your nose. Wipe your butt with it. Regardless if it's in the storyline or not, people don't forget Shawn.
I mean, this match almost felt more like Benoit versus Triple H and also Shawn Michaels versus the crowd. Like, it almost was like two separate matches happening.
Yeah.
They were laying it in.
Yeah,
I mean, it
fantastic.
was. I mean, well, yeah. Any parts of this specifically, any elements of this match stick out? I mean, I thought it was a great for like a Benoit homecoming. I feel like this match is here to kind of solidify Benoit as the guy. To have him in a match where he's going to get the heavy majority of cheers, and you have Shawn Michaels getting the boos. People don't like Triple H, so it's a very easy, foolproof way to give Benoit a showcase here.
Yeah. And that might have been part of. I'm sorry, that might have been part of the reason why they made it a triple threat, because they knew, hey, we're going to be in Canada, so this is really going to Benoit is going to be the overwhelming favorite because everyone hates.
And can I just say a rare appearance of Triple H in the white boots.
The white boots, yes,
threw me the whole early on. Threw me white boots, black trunks. I was like,
right, white
the
blue
blue
strips.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was thrown off a little bit there.
Yeah, had the white
But no,
boots.
they early on, like you could tell that these three guys, like there was, again, it's a story, but you could tell there's real like some animosity that they were really late in those shots early. Like, they were like, we're gonna go out and just beat the shit out of each other for the first half of this thing. Oof.
Yeah. And even for me, before the match even started, when Benoit gets in the ring and he walks right over to Shawn Michaels and he's right in front of him and he lifts the belt up and he just smiles with that tooth missing. And then he walks across the ring and does the same thing to Triple H and he just has this shit-eating grin on his face. And I'm just like, I didn't remember like him being like a cock. Like that was him like being cocky.
Oh yeah, that's him
you
being
know,
like,
and that
this
was
is my yard.
yeah. Yeah, well, you're in my hometown. Like I'm the champ here, boys.
It's bulletproof
And,
right now at this
it
moment.
was
Yeah.
good stuff. I saw that and I was like, oh, I don't remember him doing that. Like that was like, ooh, all right, cool. I very much like that.
He feels like a champion at this point for sure, and that definitely solidified it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a chaotic match. It's just the nature of a triple threat match. They're fighting around the ring, in the ring. The ref gets wiped out at some point. I mean, there's so many things that happen in this match. Any particular parts of it stick out to you guys?
Well, I mean, the ref bump, and then we get another appearance from Earl just to get the crowd even more riled up. Just to get the crowd even more riled up and pissed.
They made it such like a spectacle though, because the ref gets wiped out.
Yeah.
And then Shawn locks in the sharpshooter onto Benoit, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then no ref, but out comes Earl Hebner, and they just made it. It was just so like intentful.
You know, every fan in that arena is like, "Son of a bitch, they're gonna do it again," and they're just like, hey,
"What if
they're doing it again?
What if they did do it again? The arena, that place would have rioted,
burned to the ground. Would have been burned to the ground."
I think they did like years after this. It was like Shane McMahon or something, and it was some bullshit like I don't know, but no, they did they were aware of it at least. I guess that's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
long-term storytelling. They're cheap heat.
Well, they've buried the hatchet, right? Everything's fine.
Yeah, right. That's good.
Cool, neato burrito.
The spot where Shawn goes through the Spanish announce table as well. That was a good little spot.
Yeah.
That was wild.
I question Shawn's depth perception here.
Yeah.
I don't think the guys had to duck.
No, I don't think they did either.
Either he was all amped up and missed them by a good 5-6 feet, or he thought that they were going to be closer to that table. Because, I don't know. Is this the era of the cross-eyed Shawn, and he just kind of missed it?
Wow. I believe that era still exists.
Sorry.
Maybe this is what caused it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He hit that thing hard. I don't even think he expected to hit that thing as hard as he did. But, yeah. Well.
So he's laid out. I mean, Shawn just goes smashing through that announce table.
Mm-hmm.
And then Triple H rolls Benoit in the ring and locks in a camel clutch, which caught me off guard. I don't know why that was the move, but Benoit, we get Benoit, Germans, chops, all the classic Benoit stuff. Triple H eventually hits the pedigree, but he can't capitalize because he's been so beat down. Finally makes the pin, but Shawn's back and breaks it up. So they're doing a lot of similar things that they did at WrestleMania when they put Benoit through the table and he eventually came in and broke up something. So some callbacks here, but no, it was good stuff all throughout. Sledgehammer comes into play at some point, right to the spine of Shawn Michaels, freshly returned. I mean, a few years now, but from that back injury.
I know we ragged on him a lot, but the King, after Triple H uses the sledgehammer, he just asked JR, he goes, "They got Home Depot in Canada?" I don't know, made me laugh.
Do they though?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I assume, but you know what happens when you do that. But and again, it's not even like even that funny, but just the way he said it, it made me cackle. I cackled. They got Home Depot in Canada? I was like, okay, all right.
You are his target audience.
Yes, probably. Sad. We move on. And
Triple H goes to pedigree Benoit on the steps. But Benoit catapults him off of the steps into the ring post. And I
Mhm.
feel like Benoit got the worst of that. That did not look very, I mean, his lower back smashing the edge of the steps. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was
It was a cool looking spot. But yeah, that looked like Benoit. That probably hurt a lot.
Yeah. But eventually, because it sends Triple H into the ring post and he ricochets off of it into the crowd. And then Benoit gets in the ring, capitalizes on that sledgehammer shot from earlier on Shawn Michaels, locks in the sharpshooter on Shawn Michaels, and Shawn taps out. I mean, if there's any way to please the crowd, it's tapping out Shawn Michaels with the sharpshooter.
you
So.
tapped out.
Yeah, crowd was going nuts. And they did that thing where Triple H, like right at Shawn's in it, he almost gets to the ropes.
Yeah.
And then Benoit pulls him back in the center. And then the camera angle, you see Triple H like slowly crawling back up. And he like gets in the ring. He's reaching for Shawn to try to break it up. Shawn's reaching for him. And then Shawn eventually tapped. That was like a kind of a good way to how Triple H was just so close to potentially maybe preventing that from happening. But yeah, it was good. And the crowd was absolutely losing it for Michaels in the sharpshooter. They were like losing their minds. And Earl being the ref. Come on. Yeah, good stuff.
Imagine he just doesn't ring the bell.
That was yeah. That would have been fun, right? Not doing it.
It's that was good stuff. For whatever reason, I remember Triple H being the one that tapped out here, but I guess not. I'm not going to do that twice in 1 year, brother. I guess
that doesn't work for me, brother. Why didn't
gotta keep him?
It's a triple threat, no DQ. Where's your Evolution running mates? Where's Batista in this mix? Like, what? He's there. He didn't do anything on this card.
They're licking the wounds of Randy.
I guess they're still pulling tacks out of him in the back, but Garrison Cade, that's your job as Ric Flair's understudy. You're the tack puller.
Yeah, but Benoit made Triple H tap out at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they kind of did it this way. So he made Michael this time. So he tapped them both out in both the triple threat. So I think yeah. So that makes sense.
I'm all about it. Chris Benoit is for real, is what is the closing line of this show. So there, it's all to solidify him. Randy's been solidified, and so I think we got a nice little SummerSlam main event all set up here in a few months from this. But yeah, no, good way to end the show, I thought. I mean, do you guys? I don't know how much you remember of the WrestleMania triple threat. Do you put this on par with it? Better? Not as good?
I haven't watched the WrestleMania triple threat in a long while. This one is obviously fresher to me.
I think it's hard. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I lean the Mania one, but I think they're close. I think they're two great triple threat matches.
If you take the Mania,
I lean the Mania one.
If you take the moment out of it, where Chris Benoit obviously wins it and wins the belt, and you just look at it match to match, they're pretty even. But obviously, I think Mania takes it for most people are going to say the Mania because it's the moment where he wins it, he's crying, and it's just this thing.
Yeah,
but
him and Eddie, and it's just, everything that was in that moment makes it.
But this was solid. This was a solid main event too. This was great. It was a good way to do it with Earl and Shawn and getting a nice pop from the crowd. So yeah, I like this one too.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree. I think I don't think one's way better than the other. I think they're different, slightly different flavors of a similar match, but that was good stuff. Stuff. Any other nuggets on Backlash 04? Anything itching at you? Anything we didn't discuss or anything?
Not that we didn't discuss. No, I remember this as being one of my favorite pay-per-views of this era. And I think it's really specifically for the main event and for obviously the Orton Cactus Jack match is the one. That's a match that's going to be talked about forever. History of time. Randy and Cactus Jack. It will always be mentioned. When Randy is on the podium in 5 or 6 years, 100% part of his speech will be dedicated to Mick Foley in this. 100,000%.
Or maybe he still works it, doesn't say a word, kayfabes and goes, that dude.
I would be very disappointed. But I can
carried him in that match.
Yeah, I can only imagine that
Nick tried to sandbag me that whole time.
There'll be a big chunk in his speech about this match and what it did for him and Mick, and it's the career-defining match for him.
We didn't talk about the John Cena promo for his DVD.
Oh yes. Yes.
You know what?
We
I
didn't talk
put
about
that in my notes, but I do remember it.
We
I
didn't
didn't
talk
put
about
that in
that.
my notes, but I do remember it. What was it called? Was it
Oh,
Word Life?
Word like, because he
Yes.
was still rapping at this point. He mentioned,
Yeah.
like smacking Stephanie's ass and stuff and performing for the
It's like this
truth.
dude's been going for like a year. Like, what highlights do you have?
Yeah.
Do we need a VHS for you, John?
Yeah. He got,
This is battle raps and slapping Stephanie on the ass.
and then he's like, "Yep, my time in Iraq, I helped perform for the troops or something." And I was just like, "Oh man, this is peak WWE right here, man." No, overall
Well,
though, I thought this was a fun rewatch. There was a lot more good than bad. Like when we did this last time, Kyle, there was a lot more bad than good. So
come
at least
on, Vince for Steph.
yeah, at least this
Great
time, the Basham brothers.
Oh, I was about to say, I don't
Doug
remember
and
anything
Danny?
else.
Doug and Danny, baby. What's wrong
You
with
guys,
the
Doug,
Bashams?
you guys more Doug or Danny?
I'm a
Thoughts?
Danny guy. I'm a
Oh,
Danny
I knew it.
guy.
I was about to guess.
I'm a
You're
Danny
probably
guy.
a Doug, Pluggo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect Doug, but Danny's my guy.
I'm more of a Shaniqua guy
I was gonna
myself.
say,
I like it.
I think we're
I
all
like it.
Shaniqua guys.
I think we were all in that group. Yeah, Shaniqua was the one.
But no,
Yes.
it was a good show, top to bottom for the most part. There, of course, there's some bummers in there, but
Yeah.
you have that era. There was a lot of this
Yeah.
on those B level mid card, like mid. I don't want to say mid card pay per views, but a lot of those were like you could have a Mania that would hit all the way through. But these, you just like
A lot of parabolas.
got to get through that
in this
Jonathan
era.
Coachman match.
Yeah. Oh, there might be a lot of peaks and valleys in 04 WWE, but
I think
somewhere where there's only peaks, no valleys. It's between two beards. Appreciate you boys hopping on here once again. Where can everybody find you guys, touch you, listen to you, watch you, all that stuff?
You want me to go first, do the shtick? Okay. Well,
You do
all
it,
right.
brother.
Well, I am Pluggo. You can find me at Pluggo on all social media platforms. I do a show with this gentleman right here, Between Two Beards, as you mentioned, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. If you want to know what we got going on there on all social media platforms, go to at B2Beards, and we'll keep you up to date with what we've got going on throughout the summer. I do some writing over at lovewrestling.ca as well, so if you want to hear any of those articles. And then Saturday mornings, I talk a little independent wrestling with my good friend Blair Pacheco on 4 Exposure. So that's where you can find me.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. Obviously, as he said, we got beers every Thursday night, 8 p.m., the flagship at Love Wrestling. I do a show Thursday mornings as well with my pal Drew Nicholas called Firmly Inc., where we do like a little bit more in-depth review of the week that was in pro wrestling. And then after Dynamite, AEW Dynamite over on bodyslam.net, I do the post show over there, Dynamite Up, with Jose on the air, my pal over there. So that's where you can find me. So.
Hell yeah. And I'm gonna get my hands on that Word Life VHS. I'm gonna bring you guys back on here and we're gonna do a review of it.
I was gonna say, if you want to cycle this back, I will go out of my yes.
100%.
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah,
100%.
Watch along, perhaps. I mean,
I would even be down. We'll hash it out, but
it's
I'm
on
down
the
for any and all. Any and all.
I mean,
I'm a Massachusetts boy, so that you're talking about one of my dudes. Like Cena's my guy. Not really.
Right. I mean, you and Cena are like kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
I would say,
100%.
right?
He grew up in the town that is literally 5 minutes away from where I sit.
So basically, JPJ molded his child
in West Newbury, Massachusetts. I am the town next to West Newbury. That's where I live.
Is that East Newbury?
No. It's not.
Oddly
enough, there is not an East Newbury. There's a West Newbury and a Newbury. That's what.
And there's a Booberry around the Halloween time.
Yeah.
It's a great.
So there's it's not East and West. It's just Newbury and then West Newbury. And West Newbury is very small, but that is where John Cena is from.
Wow, it's so small. You got some you got heat with West Newbury. Is there a
no? But I find it absolutely insulting how when you drive through the town line, it doesn't say "Welcome to West Newbury, home of John Cena." What else you got? What else you got?
Nothing.
Kidding
right?
Me? Kidding me?
No battle raps. Yeah.
Listen,
anyone else?
They probably were thinking about doing it until he turned heel this year. Now
I know.
I wouldn't give that guy anything.
I don't blame him. He's ruining
wrestling. Just this year. He's only ruining wrestling this year, not any other year.
And then he's done. And then it's fine.
He hasn't rounded for 20. Listen, I'm a CM Punk guy, so.
Oh boy.
Don't get me started.
Better end
Don't
this
get me
before
started.
it goes down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you to Pluggo and JPJ from the Between Two Beards podcast for joining me on this episode. Was a hoot and a holler with those two boys. Go check them out. Like I said, every Thursday live, wherever you watch and consume these wrestling podcast deals. All their stuff is in the description below. So is my stuff. If you want to check out my socials, don't blame you if you don't. What else? I think that does it. I think we've done it. Was a hoot. Glad having you here. Everything's a hoot. I've been saying hoot a lot. Becoming an owl as we speak, which makes sense because my last name's Bird. Although I don't think an owl would be the choice. If I had a choice of being a bird, probably go blue-titted booby. What's that bird? No, there's a tit and a booby. Isn't that kind of crazy? It was also a pecker. Very genitalia based. A lot of these birds are. Although there are a lot of birds. So at some point you just run out of words. So you just have to go into your pants and see what's in there and then call it that. So if you want a bird spin-off podcast from me, let me know. Send me an email or a fax. With that, now I'm going to fly out of here. All right. Bye. Appreciate you all. Wow. I'm hard.
Yeah. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.